All right. Well, welcome everybody to our team call for March 20th, 2018. Very special lineup for you tonight. So tonight we're going to start off with a story from Budge. And I just want to touch on stories a little bit. So we all know that facts tell and stories sell, right? I mean, we hear that all the time. But I really think the power of stories is not so much in selling, but is inspiring, right? So stories can really inspire people to get out of their comfort zone or to make a change or to dream bigger, right? They can inspire people to just do more with their lives, right? So I think stories are really important. It's important to know your story, your own story. It's important to know other people's stories. And it's also important to know when to share those stories and how to share those stories. And it's just another one of those skills that we have to develop in this business. So we're going to start out by hearing Brett's story tonight. And so you can add it to your arsenal and use it to inspire yourself and use it to inspire others. And then we will move on to Tony Zolecki, who's going to help us more with the storytelling piece, along with some other great training things. So Brett is a Platinum 1 D3 from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and she's actually hosting this Sunday's Canada Ignite Tour that's in Winnipeg. So it's a perfect time for her to tell her story, as she'll be telling it again this weekend. So thanks, Brett, for getting on tonight and sharing your story with us.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Tracy. It's seriously an honor to be on here, and especially to get to share this call with you and Tony and Anna. So I'm really excited to hear what everyone has to say and to be a guinea pig, so to speak, with my story here. So I'll try not to be too nervous about it. But yeah, so as Tracy said, I am here in Manitoba. I live with my husband, Cass, and our 2 fur babies. So my story with Modere might be a little bit different than most people's stories. When I was first introduced to Modere, it was last January, and I'll be real, guys, I really was not looking to join the business. I had a really great job with the government here in Winnipeg. We just built our dream home. My husband and I travel a lot. We do pretty much anything that we want in life. And I was also already a network marketer with a different company where I thought I was experiencing success. I had a nice kind of little residual income check, and I was able to treat myself to these fun things in life. But that all kind of changed when I saw my girlfriend Janine out in Alberta posting on Facebook with all of this excitement that she just joined up with a new network marketing company. So naturally, I was pretty curious. My wheels started turning, and I decided to take a look at Modere. I mean, Janine is someone who I had been watching from afar, have tons of respect for her. I knew she was already successful in network marketing. And so when I saw that she, was looking at this, I said, okay, I need to take a look at this. So the least I could do was, reach out to Janine and see what she had to say. So within a couple days of just chatting back and forth with her, it had gone from me possibly just trying out these products to actually planning the exit strategy from my last company. And it's funny because Janine actually said that. She said, "You sound like you're planning an exit strategy here." And so the more I looked at Modere, really the more excited I got, because from where I was, it was a true natural next step for me and the clients who I was already helping. At that time, I was helping people get into shape and eat healthy, but I kind of felt like that's where it ended. And when I looked at Modere's product line, I was really, really excited because we could expand on what I had already been doing. And it just made a lot of sense for me and for the people who I was already working with. So yeah, within just a few days of talking to Janine, I decided to jump right in. Of course, as soon as I received my products, I was ecstatic. I loved them, started using them all and just picking away at the business in my spare time. Like I said, I had a full-time career. I didn't have a lot of free time to work this business, you guys. It was here and there during coffee breaks, on my way home from work, maybe a couple minutes here and there in the evening. But within my first 90 days, days of just spare timing it with Modere, I was able to like splurge on things that I was never able to afford with my other company. So, you know, treat myself to things like new patio furniture, pay off debt. And I've since been able to pay off a vehicle and pay down a huge loan. So it made a very significant impact in my life, and I didn't even really think that it could. So 8 months in, I was earning like a very real income in terms of incomes, and my wheels started turning again. So I realized that I could actually supplement my full-time income with Modere, and I did something that a lot of people said was crazy, and I called up my boss and I asked to go down to half-time. And just trying out that half-time lifestyle, it completely changed my life for the better. It was like I was a better person. I was more bubbly. Because I was spending more time helping people rather than just kind of doing that rat race grind every single day. And the more I thought about it, the more the thought of going back to commuting for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, it just wasn't sitting with me very well at all. So I did another crazy thing. A few months after working part-time, I decided to jump right in with Modere, full on in. Like I said, the thought of going back to commuting every single day, I was driving in winter storms an hour each way, you know, getting up at 5 in the morning to go and fight to get downtown for work. I had no life. I had no energy. When I came home from work at night, it was like I was exhausted. I'd have just enough time to cook supper for my husband and I, maybe watch 30 minutes of a TV show, and then set the alarm, get back ready to go to bed, and do it all over again. And just that was weighing on me so heavily. So I decided to, jump in with this all the way. And so, I've been able to replace my income, but I have to say, like, the biggest win that I've had with Modere is being able to get that extra 10 hours back in my life every single week. Like, compound that over a year, that's huge. So it has been a real game changer for me, for my husband, for my family. And not only that, I get to now surround myself with people who I actually want to be around every single day. So just so many different positives that I didn't even think that I needed in my life. And it's really impacted me in so many good ways. And for that, I will be forever grateful, that Janine was willing to share this with me. And I'm so glad that she shared about it on Facebook and it piqued my interest. So that's really my story in a nutshell.
I love your story, Brett, because it really speaks to me about that desire for time freedom. And, once you taste it, I think it's very difficult to go back, right? So I think time freedom is often more important than financial freedom for people. And they often go hand in hand, right? Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. So hopefully you're all inspired by Brett's story and you could pick out some things that you could identify with, or maybe there's some people that could identify with her story. So when we're telling a story, for the purpose of these calls, we go longer than we might, let's say, for an event, right? So the events that we've been doing in Canada and the events that are coming up this weekend, a lot of people have an opportunity to share their stories, and depending on kind of the format and who's speaking and the way we do it, you might only have 60, 90 seconds to tell your story so we can get more people up there. So Tony's going to help us figure out what the highlights of Brett's story might be and help teach us how to pull out the highlights of our own stories for the purpose of telling our stories in different situations. So just a little bit about Tony real quick. Tony is a Platinum Elite 3. He and his wife Sarah live in Minnesota. And they've been with this company for 5 years, I think, Tony, since the transition from New Way. So they're a big part of who Modere is right now, a huge part of it. They know where the company's been. They know where the company's going. So he's just, he has a vision that no one else might have, at least no one on this call, right? He also just got off a 4-day conference with Tony Robbins. He and Sarah did. And I like to think that Tony Robbins left those 4 days a better person for having spent 4 days with Tony Zolecki. I'm sure he did. So Tony, we're so thankful that you took the time to get on the call tonight to share with us. And I know he's got more to talk about than just the story piece. So thanks, Tony. We'll turn it over to you. Take as much time as you'd like.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Tracy. And so great to be here with each and every one of you tonight. And yeah, it was a really big weekend for Sarah and I. When you go to an event like that and you have what I call, that's a full immersion event where, you're in it, you're playing all out for 15 hours a day, 4 days in a row. And it's absolutely incredible. I mean, I love events, right? I'm a student of events like a lot of you are. I've been to, 200, 300, 400 events since the 90s when, I pursued this business of network marketing and really fell in love with the personal development, the growth in these events. And I got to tell you, it was absolutely the best event I've been to yet out of all those hundreds and hundreds of events that I've been blessed to be at. And the big thing I tell you is, when you're sitting around 12,000 people and, and there's people from every walk of life, right? It really, you're working on you and you're working through your stuff and, the weekend's for you, right? And, but I'm looking around and I'm meeting a ton of people and there's people there from all walks of life. But what I've realized talking to everybody, and I've, met construction workers, lawyers, attorneys, college kids, business owners, stay-at-home moms. I mean, you name it, they were at that event this past weekend, but they all want something more, right? They all want to do more, have more. They all want to, have that fulfillment and be a part of something special, be a part of, something that really makes them feel amazing, where they can really serve and contribute and help and, nourish and all those great things that we do. So I will tell you that, now's the time to be talking about Modere, because there's people out there looking. There's people out there wanting to hear about this, wanting to know about this, wanting to see how they can be a part of it, or, where this fits in their, crazy busy schedule. Or, there are so many people that I met that, just they want a business, right? But they just don't know what business to start, or they, can't get, the 50, 60, 100,000 it takes to start a traditional business. But they're driven to do something more with their life. So, it was a great weekend, as you can tell. I feel sorry for those prospects next week or this weekend in those rooms because they don't have a shot. I just tell you that. I mean, we'll go for we'll be at 100% success rate this weekend. I can guarantee you that. But, I just want to kind of talk and go a little bit through these stories and testimonials. And Brett, you are phenomenal. I love your story. And, there's different stories, as Tracy talked about. If you're in a room and, you're doing an event and, you're maybe doing the first part of the opportunity event where, you're like Tracy says, you want to be 60, 90 seconds so you can get, other people up. But then you can also have that first part of the event move faster, right? And then there'll be parts in an event where you have a little bit more time to tell a story like Brett did. And I think, Brett, I love that story, and I would tell that story, exactly like you told it, because it's so powerful and you hit so many different keys. And, I'm sitting there listening to it and going, again, inside I'm going, wow, I relate. 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 Yeah, I get that. I get that. I get that. I get that. And that's what a powerful story is all about. So I had a couple different, stories sent to me of some stories that I'll be using, with some of the things that I'm doing. But I wanted to read you a couple so you guys can get a little understanding of, some of the stories that just were sent to me. But some secrets I've used for years with powerful testimonials, something you want to write down is that it's always better if you're nervous, if you're, not kind of feeling it, right? You're just kind of up there for the first time, or you're just getting comfortable with groups, it's always better to go shorter than longer. You'll be a lot more powerful shorter than you will longer, because what happens is, and I used to screw this up, I used to be up there and I used to think I need to go longer to make a bigger impact. Just mumbling and, throwing stuff out there that really didn't make any sense, and that didn't really, the audience didn't need to hear it, but I was just nervous and I would just, keep talking. And it's kind of like, so many times people wanted to take one of those canes and just hook me and pull me off, right? Because they're like, Tony, enough. So you always want to make sure it's shorter's better than longer. And, when you have hot stories and you have, stories that are really exciting, they make a bigger impact, right? Because you're sitting there for 30, 45, 60, 90 seconds, and you get this story and you're just like, bam. And it's like, wow. And then here's the next one, bam, wow. Here's the next one, bam, wow, right? And that's really what gets people. And, when I seen this profession in 1993 in Schaumburg, Illinois, I went into an office at the time. That's where they were doing their opportunity meetings, was an office setting. And there was about 100 people in the room. And we were sitting in the back. My mom and I were with my sister. But it was great. The presentation was great. It was funny. It was, they were showing, great, about the company at the time, their products and all that stuff. It was awesome. But what got me was the story. There was a story by someone that was 19 years old, just like I was 19 years old. And he just told the story where, he just didn't know what he was going to do in life. And he wasn't a college kid and he didn't really fit in. And he was kind of just out there just doing odds and ends jobs, but not really happy and not really making the money he wanted to make. Then he was with this, new network marketing company. His first month, he made like, I don't know, $2,500 or something like that. And it was a 90-second or less story, but I was like, that got me. Like, I was in after that story because I was like, I'm just like him. I can relate. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm feeling. Wow, he was able to do that right off the bat. Man, if he could do that, I could do it too. So just high energy and heartfelt. Those are the two things I love talking about. High energy and heartfelt, because that's what really can relate. So here's a couple examples of some, business stories. So you always want to say your name. You want to talk about, what you do, right? Because 99% of the people that do this are part-time, or what you used to do, right? If you're not employed, what you used to do, because that's what really gets people to identify with you, right? Because there's going to be all these different walks of life. So if you're a college student, a waitress, a bartender, corporate America, stay-at-home mom, whatever, you make sure you bring that up, because that's going to get the relatability with someone that's sitting in the audience. And then explain what the drawbacks are of that occupation and what Modere solves. So the drawbacks are so huge, because that's the pain for people, right? And the drawbacks and the pain is what gets people. So then you want to talk about what Modere solves. So, and these are from people that are new. And again, you'll see how short these are, how simple they are, but how they make their point. So, hi, my name is Nancy Johnson. I'm a nurse here in Detroit. My job has a lot of stress because we are making life and death decisions all the time, yet the pay is very low. I love Modere because doing this business and promoting this brand is so much fun, and I can make as much money as I want, and I can help as many people as I want. Boom. So she was able to talk her name, where she's from, that she's a nurse. The pain is, she has so much stress making those life and death decisions and being in those situations all the time, right? So there's the pain, right? And then yet the pay is very low. So she not only talked about the life and death of the stress, right? But then she goes, the pay isn't good at all, right? It's very low. And I love Modere because the business is fun. I can make as much money as I want. I can help as many people as I want. And I can feel good about promoting something I truly believe in and have a blast doing. So that was one of them. Here's another one. Hi, my name is Jim Hansen. I'm an IT director for a hotel chain. I have a pay scale. And not much room for advancement. I joined Modere because I can be my own boss and I can really make what I'm worth, and I have no ceiling, and I can go out there and do as much as I want based on the effort I put into it, right? So again, he talks about he's an IT director, for a hotel chain. He's on this pay scale. There's not much room for advancement, right? So there's the stress, there's the pain, right? The discomfort. And then he joined Modere because he can be his own boss and he can really go out there and make what he's worth, right? So here's the last one I got. Hello, my name is Becky. I'm a waitress at Red Lobster. We work mostly on tips, so I can't afford the things I really want in life. With Modere, I made $1,400 my first 3 weeks in business. This can make me lots more money than waiting tables. And the best part about it is I'm having a blast and I'm doing it a few hours a week. So that's really good as well, right? Because think about how many people that are waitresses and bartenders or, work on tips or, just, retail, right? They spend so many hours, they take time away from their family, they bust their butts, right? And they give everything they got to that company, but they make very little money, right? And, she talks about how she can't afford the things that she wants. And, that's a big pain for her, right? And now she's with Modair. She made $1,400 her first 3 weeks in business, and, sky's the limit, right? So those are some examples. And I always tell people when they're doing testimonials, keep it short, keep it sweet. Like I said, high energy, heartfelt, and just be to the point, because when you're to the point, it's more of an impact. Now, I would tell you if you're using product, in there as well, it would still say your name. You would still talk about what your profession is, what you do, where you're from, right? You might say, you know what, I'm a nurse and I'm there, sometimes 15 hours a day. And with that kind of time, I'm tired, right? And I find myself drinking a lot of coffee, caffeine, whatever it is to keep my energy up so I can perform well at my job. And, I found this energy drink Modair has, and, within a couple of days, I noticed a difference. Within a month, I was off coffee. I was off all the caffeine. I never felt better in my life. So that would be more of like a product testimonial, right? So you're still talking about your name, where you're from, and just really what you found, whether it was the BioCell, whether it was the weight management, whether it was toothpaste, whatever it was. So those are just some of the testimonial guidelines I like to use and some things that'll help you guys. But what I would do is you practice, right? You write out your 3, 4, 5 line testimonial, and for the business and for the product, right? And just have those. How I started is that's what I used to do. I used to take a notepad. I'd write out my testimonials, and they change longer I'm in the business, but I'd write them out, and then I would just read them. You know what I mean? And that's how I would learn. When I'd get up in front of the room, I wouldn't be so freaked out and so nervous. You're always going to be nervous. But you just, if you've been reading your testimonial and it's not, 10 pages, for instance, it's 4 or 5 lines, you can just be a lot more effective. You can be more comfortable, and, you can deliver the message, right? Because your whole goal is when we're doing these is that we just want people from all different walks of life. We want people that, can really relate with people that are sitting there, and we want them to really, share their heartfelt testimonial and just be themselves, right? And the more you do that, the more comfortable you're going to get. The more comfortable you get, the more it's going to be like just a walk in the park. And I get that it's sometimes scary and not fun and all those things, but you know what? The more you do it, just like anything, the more you just get really better at it. So hopefully that helped a little bit. What I will tell you is, we've got a lot of great things happening here at Modair as we speak. We're going into, we're middle way through March right now, and the sales are up from February. The new distributors or social marketers are up. Customers are up right now. Volume is up at a whole for the company. And we're really, creating some new stories, and you're going to see a lot of new stories this month. You kind of heard some of the stories last month in February, but there's going to be 3, 4, 5 times those stories in March than there was in February. And, the advisory board is going out to Utah Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we've got a plan to really, the first plan is really to take this comp plan and really dissect it and really look at every area of it again and make sure that we can really tweak some things so we can get back to doing some of the things we were doing about a year and a half ago with this comp plan. And, where it's really exciting for the people that have been around, that have kind of seen some of the changes and are going, wow, I wish it was back, the way it was when I got started. Like we really see that and we understand that, and we're going to, work on doing that. So that's the first thing I'm super pumped about. So yeah, there'll be another comp plan change in the future, but I think you guys are all going to really like this next comp plan change. And I'm super excited. So we're going to be out there for, 48, 72 hours, whatever, in line, get this in place. So that's great. We're also going through, the events that are coming up with Vancouver Regional and Orlando Regional, kind of setting those schedules. And we've got different surprises and products and things like that. I mean, Ozma's working on a product right now that we're trying to get her to release early. They won't even tell me what it is, but I will tell you that talking to Ozma about this personally, one-on-one, all Ozma said is, Tony, I've got a product I've been working on for years that will change everything. It'll be the biggest product this profession has ever seen, and the impact it'll have will be phenomenal. And she's been working and working and working on this technology, on this delivery, on what it's going to be. And, I can't even get from her what it is. It's so tight-lipped, but we're trying to push that a little bit sooner too than I think she said it would be ready, after summertime, maybe September timeframe. But man, if there's any way to get that like into one of the regionals or even into the summer months, we're going to do our best. And I'll keep you posted on that as that product evolves. And that's super exciting. And just, the systems that we're putting in place. We were on the phone today with, Justin, Mandy, and everybody, and just talking about the duplication system, all the training tutorials now that are going to be in the back office based on this new system and duplication model we roll out. You're going to have all the best of the best, and you won't really see faces of social marketers. It's just going to be kind of like voices, right? And I think they might even be voiceover. So it's not going to be like the social marketer's face. It's going to be just like the training will be in our voice, but you won't see us. It'll be other stuff going on there. So, but there's going to be step-by-step modules. So like when you come in and become a social marketer, or you go from customer to social marketer, you're going to go and go through this training, similar to the wheel, but just way more in depth, way more direct, way more content, way more do A, B, C, D, get this, do it this way, get that. So, and it's going to be from the people that got the best results in the field right now, that are doing this business. So I'm super excited about that. That's coming very soon. The app just kind of came out the last couple days. I haven't even seen it and got it yet just because I've been, gone the last 4 or 5 days. But, that new app is really where you're going to be able to just take your phone, download that app, and instead of going to your back office, you're going to be able to do everything from that app on your smartphone with really sending people, presentations, all that kind of stuff, tracking it right off your phone, off that app. When someone gets started, they can go through the modules and everything I just talked about off their phone, off that app. That'll all be loaded right in there. Like that app is really going to be powerful. It's going to be kind of like the one-stop shop. So we're really working and involving in that. And it's a very, very expensive application. So it's not some chintzy, app that you can just, create and get fast. I mean, we've been working on this for over a year and a half, but we didn't want to roll it out 6 months ago because it wasn't ready. It has to be really ready, which it's like in test mode now. So that you will be full blown. That is going to be phenomenal, right? And just there's, new things happening with, more corporate folks coming in to kind of help right now. We love Justin Sarah, and he's amazing, and he does everything and does it so well. But what if we had 3 or 4 Justin Sarahs that were as good as that at that caliber? Think about that. Think about how we love Justin Sarah, using him just as an example here, our GM in North America. What if we had 3 or 4 of those between North America, Canada, that kind of caliber, right? And we're bringing those folks in. I was laughing with someone today, and they say, well, how easy is that to do, Tony? I said, it's not easy to do, and this is why it isn't easy to do. Our space of network marketing, direct sales, whatever you want to call it, it's a big space, but there's not a lot of good corporate management people in our space. There isn't. And I'm talking the good ones, right? And, the real good ones are typically already taken, right? Because they're good. They're at another company performing because they're really good. So it's not easy to find really good people. It just isn't. So, I was telling someone today, it's like, we're going to find them, but they're going to be really, really good and high caliber, but they just don't, come around every single day because, the space we're in, there's a small group of those, and you got to be able to get into that small group, because those are the ones that really know what the heck they're doing. They know how to execute. They know how to really come in and see a company like Modair, see the infrastructure we got, see the sales that are going on, see everything that's happening, and really be able to springboard that to another level. And I'm really excited. I mean, we've got, big 6-7 figure accounting firms, recruiting for us in this space. Like, it's not just us throwing up an ad on the internet or on Craigslist looking for some people, right? I mean, we've got some really high level firms that are actually doing the recruiting for us. What that means is, they do all the legwork and they have to do all the background checks. So when they just kind of bring it to us, and then we're able to kind of just go through it then. So really super excited about that. And just, there's a lot coming, you know what I mean? It's like Ozma is working her tail off right now, and the growth is shown. When I left Europe after that SRC in January, that group was doing about $1 million, that group in France. Now, you look at Europe and there's many different pockets of Europe, but I'm just talking about France. That group was doing about $1 million. Well, they finished last month over $3 million in sales. So they went from $1 million in January to over $3 million in sales. And they're climbing like crazy right now. And and this group is between 19 and 29. 19 and 29. And it's a fascinating story. It's like, I met this Elite 3, and she was 19. She's making like 40,000 US a month. And she's like, Tony, I just live with my mom and dad. I live in the basement. And I just did Modair because I thought it'd be good for shy people, because I'm really shy. And, all of a sudden, I sit in my bedroom, in my basement, in my mom and dad's house, and I just use my phone, and I've been able to go Elite 3. And I'm listening to some of these stories like this, and I'm just like, holy cow. So I tell you that story to tell you that, Europe's on the move. Japan, Ozma's there with Robert Conley right now for their social retail conference. It's all this week. Japan's growing and on the move. Australia's steady Eddie and climbing. And then you got North America, Canada right now. So things are good right now, and I look at what we've built, and it's been pretty awesome. But you guys haven't seen anything yet. Like, we're really going to take it to another level as we close out this year and go into 2019. So it's exciting, and it's really to know that you're here now with us, and to know that you get a chance to really be a part of greatness, and just things that, our professions hasn't seen yet and will see. Like, you get to put your stamp on that. So be excited about that. Have that inspire you. Have that, motivate you, and you just, what I have found is, and just being with Tony the last 4 days, is that it's easy to get comfortable. And I'll tell you, it's easy to get comfortable, right? And there's different levels of you can be at any kind of level, right, of comfort, right? He was telling stories of, some of his friends, because he runs with so many different crowds where, there's people that make, billions of dollars that get comfortable. And people say, well, they should get comfortable. They make billions of dollars. But, and then you got someone like, Bill Gates, who is still, doing this huge cause, and he doesn't ever get comfortable. He was telling his story because, he's climbing towards $100 billion. You know what I mean? And he's going to give a lot of that away, and you guys already know what he's doing. But it's just, it's interesting, because if you can stay hungry, if you can nurture that hunger inside of you and not get comfortable, your business is going to really reward you, but you're going to be rewarded in many other different areas from a fulfillment standpoint. And that's what I get excited about. And this is going to be one heck of a ride. I tell you that, these next couple years, it's a ride Sarah and I have been waiting for 5 years, and it's coming. And when that wave hits, it's going to be interesting, because usually when that wave hits, it hits fast, right? And it goes quick. And stuff springboards everywhere, from stateside to these international markets to Canada. I mean, and what happens is your check moves quickly, right? Where, it could go from 3 to 7 to 10 to 15 to 20, or, from a 500 to 1,000 to 3,000 to 3,500, or, $250 to $2,000, right? I mean, it springboards fast. And then what happens is that you oh, yeah, I was recruiting more, and I wish I had my pipeline filled faster, and I wish I had more people that I could just grab right now, because now's the time, and they would all join. And you go to your pipeline and you only see 20 people there, and you're like, why didn't I have 200 people there? Why do I only have 20 people there? I should have 200 right now, right? And it always happens, And that happened to me. That's a true story. My first company in the 90s, I was 19 years old. I didn't know anything about this, but I missed that. You know what I mean? And from 93, when I started to 95, I didn't get that. And they told me that, but I missed it, for many reasons. But when that happened, then with our company, we went from literally, 100 million in sales, in the 93 to 95. And then we went to 500 million in sales, just like that. And we were on Inc. magazine. We were across from Bill Gates and Microsoft in 95, and it was on. And I was thinking, man, why didn't I be more prepared for this moment? Because, man, I could have really made my move, right? And I'll never forget that. So just be ready. And the reason I tell you that is because you want to keep the fishing poles in the water and get uncomfortable, as I always talk about. Get good at some areas that you're not good at right now. Get better, grow at them, and just make it a point that you're going to figure it out. You know what I mean? You're going to figure it out how to have endless leads. You're going to figure out how to be okay and decent on social media. You're going to figure out how to, have your testimonials tight. You're going to figure out, how to keep your pipeline growing. You're going to figure out, how, when someone asks you what Modere is, what to say, and, not give them too much, but give them enough that they pique some interest, and you can take them to the next step, or add them to a group, or get them on a phone with someone, or put them in a chat with somebody. Just, make it a point that you're going to get good this year. You know what I mean? You're going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to figure out how you're going to get good, and you're going to put some time in, and, you're going to read a little bit more, and you're going to watch a little bit more, and you're going to do a little bit more. And what helped me in my early stage is that I watched a lot, and I read a lot, and I seen a lot at events. But the best thing that I ever did, and it took me forever to do it, I wish I would have did it earlier, was I just needed to do it. You know what I mean? I was so afraid of doing it. I was so afraid of screwing up and being humiliated and being, just, laughed at and talked about, and, what the heck are you doing? You look like you're a crazy man, right? I was so afraid of all that, and it wasn't real, right? None of that was real. It was what my mind was, telling me, but it wasn't real. It wasn't my thoughts. It was someone else's thoughts, but it's what I bought into. But none of that crap was real. It was a story that I was believing and owning, and it wasn't my story. So once I started doing the stuff and doing the work and making the calls and having the conversations and taking people through the processes, I did screw up a lot, I'll tell you that. But what I was able to do was, just correct it. And a lot of times it wasn't off by that much. It was off just by, a couple millimeters, right? I just had to go back this way, and then that was good. You know what I mean? But I just wish I would have took the action sooner. You know what I mean? So scared of all the stuff that puts us in fear that it took me years to really take the action. So, take the action with us, and if you're struggling with some of this stuff, you've got great, amazing leaders here that will help you, that will, walk you through this. We'll get you through some stuff. And if you need to reach out to me, reach out to me. But here's what I will tell you is that once you can get into that kind of rhythm, you really become unstoppable, because it really isn't that big of a deal, right? It's kind of like what you do every single day when you get up and you take your kids to school, you drive your car, you go work out, you go to a restaurant, you go grab a cup of coffee. You just become a rhythm, and it's just so easy to do, right? That's just the same thing in this business. So, you guys, I'm excited for you, and to see you do that, and to see you really be ready for that moment when that moment shines, here at Modere, and it's going to be shining very, very soon. So just thanks, Tracy, for having me on. Saskatoon, Winnipeg, we're going to rock the house this weekend. David was already texting me, and he's so fired up, and we saved the best for last. So we are going to have a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot. And like I tell you, we're going 100 for 100. Ain't no prospect getting out without either buying product or joining our business or giving you 200 names that they know, which now becomes your warm market. So thanks a lot, everyone. Appreciate you so much. Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you, Tony, so much. And I mean, that was just perfect. I think that's so much stuff that everyone just is really needing to hear, wanting to hear, loving to hear. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the call. We have Anna coming up, or if you have other things to do, we certainly understand. We don't want to hold you up, but just heartfelt gratitude for taking the time to get on the call tonight. So you guys really think about that. I mean, like Tony said, no regrets, right? Fill that pipeline now. But think about this weekend and Tony, where he's going to be this weekend in Saskatoon and Winnipeg. So not everybody's in that market. Those of you that are, we're all envious. But if not, think about who you know in those markets. When you get off this call tonight, make a list. And if you don't know anybody in those markets, start writing down the names of people that you think might know somebody in those markets, all right? Because I want you to spend the next couple days getting a hold of those people, because you can tell if you get them in front of Tony, there's no way they're getting out without wanting to be a part of what we're doing here, right? So I would sign up all over again, just hearing what I just heard from Tony there. So thank you for that again. So next up, we have Anna Woodward, another Platinum 1 E3, and she has this beautiful way of just kind of wrapping everything up and tying it all together and getting us excited. So Anna, thanks for taking the time to get on our call tonight. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Hey, I had been a platinum at my highest, not Platinum 1 yet, but thank you for the promotion. I appreciate that. Oh gosh, you guys, this is a great Zoom. It's getting me fired up. And first I want to share that with you is, we're human, and we all have so many different things pulling on our lives and our attention and our demands. And we all need to stay plugged in together to stay hot, to stay hot and excited. This is a business for entrepreneurs. It really isn't a business for people to be managed and to be told what to do, when to do it. You guys have to have a fire in your belly. If you want to be told what to do and when to do it, then that's called, work for somebody else. This is really like everything you heard from Brett and Tony tonight. I can't echo more. I want to share this little pocket though, so you understand the power of what's going to happen in Saskatoon and Winnipeg this weekend. I started my business in my last company here in a small town, about 45,000 people. And we were some of the first to market for that company. So very, very similar. And we had a top income runner fly in, and there was 4 of us. So I know there's Brett, and I know there's Janine, and I don't know who else is in that market, let's say in Saskatoon, but there was 4 of us organizing something for this top earner. And we had about 3 days to not embarrass ourselves. I'm gonna be quite honest. I was like, we're bringing a multi-million-dollar earner in, and we have no one coming yet. Like, we are gonna be humiliated. So we burnt those phone lines up. And I would say, I need your support. I need to fill this place. I have a top earner flying into Saskatoon. You guys, no one goes to Saskatoon by accident, right? So you got to say, I need your help. I need you to bring a friend. I'll give you VIP seating. We'll get you a raffle ticket. You got to sell Tony. You got to sell Tony. You got to sell a top earner in Canada, Janine Skolaruk. You got to sell the event like this is, who's those boxers that just did those, those world fights, like that people will still scramble around the world to get to Vegas to get tickets. And here's why, because what you heard Tony say is true. We did this 5 years ago, and we ended up having 24 people or so in that room. And in 10 months, I was a 50,000 month earner. Okay. And it started in that room. Every single person felt it. They could feel the air. They could feel money. I mean, quite honest, they could feel opportunity. They could feel timing. They could feel leadership. And they went, and before it was even over, it was like a 45-minute event. Yours is going to be longer. They went outside and started calling friends and said, you got to get here. You got to get here now. So, I'm telling you, the power of this is not just a cute little product sampling bar. This is a powerful event where you want as many quality people there with you. And if you're within a 5-6 hour drive of Saskatoon or Winnipeg, you get in the car, because this could be the life-changing event. When is the next time Tony Zolecki is going to get to Saskatoon or Winnipeg? I would bank maybe a year from now. So use this like this is your golden ticket, okay? I would. And the event in Vancouver was the exact same way. Everybody felt, oh, I wish I had more people here. Oh, I wish I had more people here. So I've been there and I've done it and I've seen what can happen. And I know Tony because he's a pro and he is one of our top earners. He's so He is so humble, but the guy is money bags, okay? He's one of our top earners, one of the biggest organizations in the world. You got to brag about that. You got to tell people you will learn from just being in the room with the caliber of people and what this company is doing, because we are the shift in the industry in social retail on a global scale. So with that, I'm excited for you guys. So Brett, your story was perfect. You know, and it's so funny because I just forgot about this call until about an hour and a half ago. I went, whoops, there's a call tonight. And what I want to talk to you about is probably the most powerful skill you ever learn in this business. You already touched upon tonight, and it's a skill of being relatable. Just being relatable. This is relationship marketing. I can't express it enough. And my pet peeve, if there's going to be any pet peeve about Anna Woodward after 13 years in the business, I'm a little bit older, got a few more wrinkles, okay, a little bit more, failures underneath my belt. I've picked myself up again a few times, but I'll tell you, my pet peeve is people scroll and follow on Facebook instead of leading in life. This is a lead in life business. If you pick up those skills and you know how to turn Facebook into a lead generator and a connector where you're getting into a relationship with people, that's fine. If you're watching everybody else's success story, in other words, you're watching their highlight reel, but you have an empty funnel, then you've got to get back into leading in life. There's a gal I met just a couple days ago, and to backtrack, there's a gal I knew about 5 years ago, and recently she moved to my town, and I've seen her on social media. She's about 21 years old, and I've been kind of like teasing her and texting her and saying, we've got to get together. I can't believe you live in my town. How crazy is this? We have to get together. Finally, I just called her and I said, look, you have a great presence on social media. I want to help you monetize it, period. I was straight to the punch. I want to help you monetize what you're already doing. She said, great. I've been waiting for you to call. So we went and had coffee. And then, and she's younger, so I'm the expert just like you're the expert, right? In any situation right now with anybody that you're prospecting, whether you know it or not, you're an expert because you know a heck of a lot more than them. Okay, so just assume the posture. You're a little bit of an expert, and you bring other experts in to back you up, but they're looking to you to assume that role of, you know, a little bit about what you're doing. And everybody on this call, I believe, does. So I said to her, start introducing me to your friends, because we want you to fast qualify or fast track, get the bonuses. We want you to get to team leader right away and just get into activity. So she introduced me to a friend, like one of her, you know, who are those to die for friends that you just instantly think they'll do anything you ask. And we met for coffee just a couple of days ago, and I had her tell me about this friend. The friend was a corporate gal. She was in her mid-40s, professional on Amazon, in PR, had just been public relations, really great career, was just laid off. So I went to the meeting. I thought, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I'm so excited to meet this friend. So I made sure I dressed the part because she's from corporate America. Now, if she was a mommy and we were meeting after yoga, I would have probably gone a little more dressed down. But the first thing she noticed, I was up buying her coffee. The first thing she noticed was, wow, she was surprised by meeting me. And I could tell instantly we had just a really strong first impression. But here's the thing. She shared her story, and I asked her, I said, tell me, why did you agree to come and have coffee with me today? I want to know about you. And she shared, she's 44 years old and had been working in corporate America for years. And once again, I don't know if you guys know much in Canada about some of the US companies, but she worked for Amazon and she had a very good job. I would just say, you know, mid $100,000 a year kind of income. And just before her stock vested, boom, she was let go. And this happens all the time. And she just said to me, I have to go back. I have to get into some kind of position to pay the bills, but I don't know if I have it in me to work this hard again. And she was traveling 30% of the time. She didn't have a family. She was tired and burned out. And I tell you this because I said to her, oh, I can so relate. Oh my God, can I relate to your story? Because what I'll share with you is at different stages in life for different people, there's always some, you know, show me some pain, show me what is giving you that conflict. And when you're young, and I'm going to use Budge for an example, because she is young, she is motivated, she is driven, and I can relate to that because I was that not very long ago. I was that driven, motivated, I was hungry. I mean, my leaders in the company I work with, they couldn't believe like I just didn't stop. Right? Because I didn't have to be told what to do. I was trying to knock the door down. And I had that energy. But then flipping closer to 50 now, I don't have the same kind of energy. So I'm listening to this woman telling me her story, and I feel her because I have traveled 30% of the time before. I have missed my kids. I have missed my family. And I remember thinking to myself, I so want to partner with you. I so want to help you create your own story, your own control, your own company, and your own future where you don't have to worry about someone letting you go 2 months before you vest. So I just share that with you because at every point in time when you meet people throughout your day, they have stories. Everyone's just putting their best smiley face forward, but you have to sit down and get into relation with them, get into conversation with them, and really lean in and ask about them. You know, people are looking for so many different things, like Tony said. Some people are looking for fulfillment. Some people are looking for meaning, right? Some people are looking for money, period. I mean, money. And I was, you know, you'll get better at this, as Tony said, but after just years of trial and error, and just, you guys, you're not going to die by meeting someone for coffee, right? It's just, there's nothing negative that can happen from getting into more sit downs with people or just connecting and learning about them. Some people want influence. They want to make a difference. They want to have an impact on maybe women in the world, or stay-at-home mommies. And some people are looking to retire. There's so many things. Until you can share the stories and be relatable, you won't know what it is they're looking for. And I guarantee you, there's a little bit in Modere for all of those meanings. Everything that I just shared, there's something in Modere that can fill that cause and that need. So the most powerful phrase, again, that you'll ever learn, that you can ever be paid on, is I can relate. And if you tell your story, and this is how you'll know over time you're getting really good, because after an event or after a call or after an opportunity, someone's going to say to you, I could relate to you. That is the highest compliment in this business, because that means you came across as genuine and as real, and that's what they want. They just don't want, you know, top earners and I'm so perfect, I've done this 1,000 times. No, they want to know that, you know, you were honest in life. You did your best. You had hardships, so you had struggle, and then you tried something different, and it was scary, and you weren't sure you're going to be good, but you had mentors, and you had a system, and you had a company with a great track record and great products. And you know what? Pretty soon you started having success, and you started feeling better, and you're losing weight, and friends were asking, what are you doing? And then you had money to pay off bills or travel. There's just so much power in being relatable. So the last thing I'd say is I want you guys all to start #hustle, because everything I'm hearing Tony say, all I can think of is Anna Woodward better get her hustle back on. Quit talking about being menopausal here and get my hustle back, because I don't want to be behind, you know, the curve when this company goes into chaos, because it's coming. And having lived it, just like Tony, chaos is a girl's best friend in network marketing, but you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready. You've got to have 100 no's under your belt. At the same time, right now, have a whiteboard, have a special folder. Anyone you're talking to, anybody, I don't care if you like them or not, or if they are a top earner at a company that you've never heard of, anyone you've come in contact with, particularly with any experience, put them in your Rolodex. And your Rolodex can be a whiteboard, or it can be just a simple notepad. You have to track who they are, when you last reached out to them, or how you met them, and their contact, okay? Because when this goes, it's like a volcano. When it blows, everybody's eyes are going to be on Modere, and you want to be able to call those leads that maybe you ran into 6 months ago, okay, or 2 years ago. And the last thing I'll say is, each morning, are you acknowledging your dream, right? You have to trust me and Tony when we say this is the time to find your initiative. Don't wait for the next Zoom. Don't wait for the app. It's always a two-sided kind of sword for me to get updates on what the company's doing, because I know it sets this precedence of, oh yeah, when that comes, it's going to be really good. And the reality is, I could care less. I have right now the opportunity to load the bases and to put together a winning team that when the time comes, and the time is now, anything that comes to add fuel to our fire, we're going to be that much more explosive. But the worst thing anyone could do is wait for the comp plan, or wait for that tool, or wait for Vancouver, or wait for the Osmo's product. And in just the last 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you this story real quick. So, because Tony, you prepped me for this call so well. When I first learned about this business, it was about 13 years ago, stay-at-home mommy. I knew nothing. I was completely skeptical. I had no belief that people could make the kind of incomes that you guys are now knowing that you can make here, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month. I was like, that is so ridiculous. I had a very, very good mentor. And back in the 80s, I'm going to date her pre-Tony in the industry. She was in a company called Dorleen Kindersley Books. So you might remember these books in Canada. They were beautiful white hardcover books with bright pictures, and there was a bear and so forth, and they're children's books. Well, she got started simply because she had 2 babies at home, and she was a wonderful mother. And she thought, if they're going to pay me to get these books out and, to doctors' offices and trade shows and moms and schools, I'm going to take them up on it. So she became number 2 in the world for DK Books. But she told me a story. And this is how I want you to get your head straight on the cycle of building this business. I think I mentioned it last week, but given what Tony said, I wanted to share this one story. And you build your business now, because we're going to have, over the next 10, 15, 20 years, we're going to have constant bumps that just lift the whole company up. And if you have a section of the company, whether it's a nice small section or it's a nice big section or a cross section, doesn't matter. Your lift will happen at the rate of the company's growth when these bumps happen. And one of her biggest growth curves was Christmas time, when the company brought out a new PB Bear Christmas book, right? Because all the moms and the doctors wanted the new Christmas book for their kids. It was just a little version. It was like a $10 book that came out. But every Christmas, when the new PB Bear book came out, her check jumped $20,000 in a month, period. Like number 2 in the world, that one little book made that much of a compounded impact on her revenue and her take home. You have the same concept in Modere. We have over 100 products. People are using them every day. And we're going to still have breakthroughs. We're going to still have new wow products. We're going to have new tools, new technologies, new advancements in our comp plan, and different things that bring people into the company or lift the existing organization and team. When that happens, you will have a natural lift and bump in your business. So you don't want to wait until that bump gets here. You want to be running into it, right? It's like you don't want to jump onto a train from standing still. You want to be running to catch up with the train and then lift yourself on. So if this is true, and I have no reason to doubt Ozma, because that woman knows her product development. If she has this much of a product coming, we should all be like losing sleep right now, making sure we have called every single person in our Rolodex and our phone, family, friends, and just said, look, if I've ever been in the right place at the right time with the right products and the right company and the right people and the right business plan, then it's it. And I want you to experience this with me. I know what's coming. All right. And it's going to be a benefit for everybody who has a small piece to a medium piece to a nice piece of the Modere pie. So that's all I got for you guys is every morning, wake up and ask yourself, are you comfortable? Are you complacent? Have you given up? Are you waiting to be told what to do? Or is your dream is it so imminent and it's so crystal clear that you can't wait to, when you get on this call and you're speaking next, to give us all your updates and tell us everything you've been up to? That's what I want to see. I want to see everybody saying, no, Tracy, I want to talk. No, Tracy, I want to share. No, Tracy, I want to share my story, because you guys can't stop right now, because you know what's coming, and you know the net effect of being in the right place at the right time and having the motion that creates emotion that builds to the momentum, because I'm telling you that chaos is coming. And Tony, you and Sarah have lived for it. I've experienced it. Rick has experienced it. And we are here in Modere because it is coming. And everybody on this call can be a beneficiary of that momentum. So I love you guys. Be relatable. Be amazing this weekend. Brag about the great Tony Zolecki, because he's going to bring fire. He's going to bring fire and vision, and every single person is going to join. I guarantee it. I love you guys.
Such a fantastic call. So glad it's recorded. I'll get the recording up. I was taking some little notes about things I might add to that, but seriously, that was like a mic drop moment. There's nothing you can even add to that. So all I want to say is #hustle. Right, you guys, thank you for getting on this call. I'm sure you guys are all as fired up as I am, and we will see you all next week. Bye, guys.